Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Speak, Film, and Enter, a podcast where we review and rank movies. I'm Nate.
And I'm Dylan.
And I'm Adam.
And welcome to day 9. We're on day 9, right?
Yes, day 9.
Day 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas here at Speak, Film, and Enter, where we're just going through 12 movies and specials that we wanted to revisit this holiday season. If this is your first time joining us for one of these, it's not meant to be any type of definitive list or ranking of the best Christmas movies or anything like that. We just wanted to do a nice little build up to Christmas and rediscover or discover for the first time some things that we like to watch during the holidays. So today we are talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, one of the 3, I think, 60s specials that have just lived on since the day they were released and have been part of our lives for our whole life. So assuming everybody's already seen this, but I hadn't watched this in a couple of years. It was something that I mean, it's on TV all the time, but now that I don't have like TV, like cable or anything, you kind of got to find it, or like if it's on at my parents' house when I'm there, we might throw it on. But I hadn't watched this for a couple of years, and it's a very interesting special to me because I feel like as an adult, there are some things that you notice that you definitely don't notice as a kid, but the visuals are so classic and the highs here are so high that it just kind of washes all the weird stuff away.
Yeah.
And just like wraps you in that warm nostalgia feel.
Yeah, I unfortunately was not able to rewatch this, so I'm still going on probably 10, 15 years since I've watched this. So this is purely childhood memories. But yes, visually it's classic. Just the character design, just the look of the North Pole and the snow, and Hermie is a great character. Yukon Cornelius, great character. Sam the Snowman, voiced by Burl Ives. I mean, there's just a lot of classic things in here everywhere. And that's probably why it's lived on. It just has this very, very kind of unique aesthetic mixed with holiday cheer.
Yeah, it's like felt puppets that they had to like hand make. Like it almost looks like they had to like poke with a needle all of the fur or whatever you want to call it into each reindeer. And like,
I feel like, can't you kind of see like some of the little like glue spots and stuff?
Probably.
Like I feel like haven't ever noticed that, but
okay.
Maybe.
Because now that you mentioned the felt, I remember they're very like they have a handmade look to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so little too, like in comparison. Like I mean, Yukon Cornelius look giant, and he's probably still like this big. So like Rudolph is like it's just such a little miniature.
Yeah, they're small. It's an interesting special in that, I mean, I again, we talked about this one when we reviewed or talked about Elf a few days ago. But like the aesthetic is so classic that Elf just pulled their entire North Pole from it. This is just kind of what the North Pole looks like to a lot of people, I think, in their heads. Sort of little line at the beginning about like, this is the Christmas tree forest. Yep, this is where we grow them. Like every tree that anybody's ever gotten for Christmas comes from like way up north.
Yeah.
And they're all just like decorated year round. This is an interesting one, though. I think as an adult, I definitely watch it differently, where like just the discrimination against this kid for having a red nose is, you know, like you don't really think about it too much when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And of course, they're presented as being wrong, but it's just sort of amusing to me. Like, I don't know. It was different, and kind of some lines about like sort of later in it when they're like out away from Christmas land or whatever it is they call it, the North Pole, and the snowman says something to the effect of like, but they knew they had the best thing to do was get the women back home. Like there's some very old-timey thinking that goes on with this special, but it gets mixed in with like just some sweet songs and the childlike aesthetic, and Yukon Cornelius just being an amazing character.
Yeah. All-time great character. Yeah. I was were there anything else like you were saying that you noticed as an adult that you didn't know? Because I have not rewatched this.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to
not a
rewatch it
ton.
recently. I see it all the time, but
yeah, not a ton. Like my parents and I were joking about like how I don't know, we were making jokes about like a potential elf union.
Yep. Okay.
Where like the head elf guy is just like, you guys got to work day and night until you do all this, and I don't know. We were cracking jokes about that, which was mostly us being silly, but it's kind of stuff that like you could kind of go down that path if you really, really wanted to.
yeah.
So I got kind of a kick out of it, and also like a lot of the misfit toys there's not really much that's actually wrong with them.
Yeah.
Like the elephant just has like red spots, and like I could totally like I've seen elephants that are weird colors at stores,
like polka dotted and stuff. Yeah.
Maybe not until this special came out though. Maybe
the 60s, man. You had to conform.
All had to look. Yeah, that's what the 60s were known for.
Yep, conformity.
Yes.
Certain circles.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. It's a funny one where I feel like rewatching other specials like The Grinch and Charlie Brown, which we will get to in the coming days. They haven't had as many like moments for me since becoming an adult. Where this one with like I don't know, I get a kick out of what's his name? You mentioned him wanting to be a dentist.
Hermes.
Hermie, probably not Hermes.
I think it's just Hermie.
Is it just Hermie?
Yeah.
My bad. Oh yeah, Hermey.
Yeah. It's just an interesting choice, and I do get some laughs out of that. Where like this elf just really wants to be a dentist, but he's just slow and he's bad at his job. And I mean, I get a kick out of their Misfit song for sure. It's kind of nice when they meet there, and then of course meeting Yukon Cornelius again, who is just like we should just talk about how wonderful he is, because he like rewatching this now for me, he was by far the best part of the Rudolph special.
And when you're a kid, he's the best part. Like he's the best part when you're a kid and an adult, because when you're a kid you're just like, that guy is so cool. And like, what
for sure
can he do?
And then when you're an adult, you kind of get like the joke about how ridiculous he is.
So over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. But just every time he throws that like pickaxe up in the air and it lands in the snow, and then like he licks it, and like that's just great. Every time he does it, I laughed. But yeah, it's a fascinating sort of time capsule. I think this is the first one of our rewatches for the 12 Days of Christmas where I raised an eyebrow a couple times. Some of the things that were included.
Just had to question it, like how it became so synonymous with the Christmas season, and like why.
I mean, I get it.
Why no one questions some of the more like questionable things.
Yeah, like there's definitely some like overt misogyny going on here, where like Donner wants to go out and look for Rudolph, and his mom wants to go too, but he says this is man's work. Like I think that's like almost verbatim the line. And I'd kind of forgotten the line, but they had already had a couple moments that were a little bit like that. So I jokingly said that right before, and I almost had it.
Almost nailed it. Like
I almost nailed it. We were laughing pretty hard at that. But you know, then it's got the like jingle, jingle, jingle song or whatever. So it's like sweet and homey and Christmassy. So like people just kind of ignore all the weird sort of questionable stuff that goes on here.
And can you guys remind me, just to clear it up in my own head, there is an abominable snowman in this, right?
Yes, he's a Bumble.
The Bumble.
A Bumble, that's what it is. Oh, yes, thank God. Yep. I for some reason, for years, I was like, was that actually in that special, or is that in one of the other weird specials?
Nope, it's in this one.
Remember, Bumbles bounce.
Right. They also sink.
Yes.
If you ever run into one, lead it to water and float out to safety on a little iceberg.
On a little ice, a little
ice raft.
Ice. Yeah. Yep. Okay. It's all coming back now.
That's how you avoid the Bumble.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's kind of a goofy, funny villain. Just this like scary giant monster that lives just kind of over there.
Yeah.
He's not that far away.
Yeah, that like Cornelius like has to conquer, or like take out.
Yeah, his nemesis.
Yeah. Well, I guess should we get to our favorite parts then?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was my favorite part growing up was the Bumble Cornelius duel and when they escape on the chunk of ice.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
That's my favorite part. I'll choose a different one for the sake of argument. I like the Island of Misfit Toys when they go to meet the lion creature. I forget his name now. Oh, is it just Aslan?
It's not Aslan, but it's
like that's what I thought of, and I was like, wait,
no, it's not. It's not Aslan.
No, but when like just meeting all that and them like having their moment of congregation and realizing that like they're not that bad, they're not that different. Like there's love to be had. Like meeting it's just he speaks in such a weird way. Like
that's the Charlie in the Box that speaks that way.
Oh, is it? Whoops, my bad. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to rewatch it this year. I've seen
I do get a kick out of that song because they list the things that are wrong with them. And some of them are just so goofy, and some of them are just like, that's not even a problem.
Yeah. Is the Charlie Box? Is it just because his name's Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of being Jack, like
yeah.
Nobody wants to play with a Charlie in the box.
Yeah. Like talk about problems that are easy to get around.
Right, but then there's like a little choo-choo train that has square wheels. Like
I remember that. Like
that's an actual problem.
What's the plane's problem? Because there's a little like toy plane that like doesn't fly.
I watched this like 2 days ago and I can't even remember.
Something weird.
Yeah, the plane. Oh, the plane swims.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't fly.
Yeah, and then the boat sinks, which is a problem. So like that's what and like the elephant just has spots.
Yeah.
And I like how it's like supposed to be, it's supposed to make Rudolph feel like he belongs, because he's like a misfit too, but his defect is like cool and kind of like none of the other toys have defects like him. Like they don't light up. Like
then there was the squirt gun that squirts jelly. Which like somebody just filled it wrong. Like that can be fixed. I don't know. It's a funny song.
Yeah,
I get a kick out of that one. I guess my favorite is just everything with Yukon Cornelius, but the one that always gets me the most is like when they sort of celebrate escaping the Bumble and they get out on the little ice raft, and then he like flings his pickaxe up in the air and then it lands and he does his like licks the pickaxe, but they're like in the middle of the water when he does it and there's like clearly nothing underneath them and he's still checking. I always get a kick out of that one.
Nice.
So yeah, fun, weird, special, definitely a little different than I remembered it in some ways, but glad I revisited it. I had a good time and has become tradition here. It is Adam who is going to be the one to put a wrap on the show.
Yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for watching our day 9 of our 12 Days of Christmas. Thank you so much for watching this season. We've had a lot of fun coming to YouTube and making that our new home. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season, and we'll see you next time.